Welcome back to Nightcap Chat, the pop culture podcast. We talk all things comic books, video games, movies, TV shows, and more. Today we're talking Birds of Prey and the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn, or as they decided to call it in movie theaters, Harley Quinn Birds of Prey. I'm Blade O'Neill.
I'm Ken Brown.
And we have another beautiful episode of Nightcap Chat, and all of you people are once again joining us, and we are so appreciative of all your support. Thank you for making us part of your weekly routines and liking, sharing, subscribing on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Podbean, YouTube, or wherever you listen to Nightcap Chat.
The more the better, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It allows us to keep doing this every week, and we greatly appreciate your support. The biggest thing in the pop culture world going on right now, I think, is Matt Reeves has unveiled what Robert Pattinson is going to look like as Batman.
I did see that.
So I haven't even talked to you about this, and I'm so excited to hear whatever you're about to say.
Yes. I mean, it blew me away that they're trying to do something original with the Bat logo, and where he worked the pieces of the gun that killed his parents
allegedly
into his armors based off of what people are rumoring about, correct? I thought it was kind of creative. That's an interesting way of freshening up a brand new era of Batman, of something they haven't done yet in movies, but bring creativity to the fact of what that means. It's like that every time he takes a bullet, it reminds him of the bullet that took his parents. And that will never happen again as long as he's in Gotham City. And as I said too, it may just be completely theory, and that's not going to actually be how the Bat logo is, but just that idea in the first place is very, very progressive for something I haven't really seen anybody touch on in the Batman logo before.
Absolutely. And the shape of it is very reminiscent of like very old school Batman. So in that regard, it's kind of neat. I don't know. I feel like the rest of the costume is very underwhelming.
Yes, that's it too. It's very basic. Other than that, it's like black denim, just flat. Well, almost reminds me of the Charlie Cox Daredevil costume.
Very much so.
That was originally on Netflix.
You're talking about because of like the stitching and stuff, like in his face.
Yes, and that's it too. It feels like that. So I'm looking at Charlie Cox there, not even Robert Pattinson in some ways, but that's just the way that mask reminds me of. Obviously, it's complete blindfold in the Daredevil Netflix series before he evolved into the red costume, but it reminded me a little bit of that feel without a cape, obviously on Daredevil, but that it's very simplistic to the fact of he's running around at nighttime. So there's even more stuff with the armor now I'm seeing now too as well. It's even more close up.
A lot of people are comparing it to the Arkham Knight video game.
Okay.
Like the way, there's like moving pieces, Here's the thing, and this seems to be a trend with Batman in particular. Like everyone complains about everything and then ends up loving it anyway.
Yes.
So really, initial reactions don't matter. But like honestly, I am underwhelmed, and I'm shocked on how skinny he looks. And I don't know if it's because Ben Affleck was such a beefy Batman that's what's kind of throwing me off a little bit. But I don't know. I'm not feeling the costume, honestly. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I'll probably see it. I just feel like they tried too hard to do something different.
Yes, and I said too, it's like that's the whole evolution of the character. I mean, Batman through the years, they've had different eras of how Batman's looked over the years, and this is something. It's like they're trying to, as you said too, get away from the short-eared Ben Affleck Batman a little bit into. I mean, I think DC is going to start repackaging a lot of their products again for the movies.
Yeah, I feel like this is supposed to be an early suit, which would be great and cool, especially if it's if that is what they're doing. But from what we know about the plot, if there's all these Batman villains in it, shouldn't he have been Batman for a while? So he should have a more
established,
you know what I mean?
Date costume on it.
I don't know. I mean, I'm just speculating, and like I said, everybody complains about everything, then loves it anyway. So, I mean, in essence, it really doesn't matter. And this is kind of par for the course.
Yes. And hopefully that's the two DC sticks on their course of being the only thing they've successfully produced movie after movie has been Batman movies. And that's something like that. I said too, with no disrespect of Superman movies, which they've done a pretty good job with too as well. But after what we've seen, Wonder Woman, obviously too. So the Trinity seems to be their best core of character movies. And if they can keep that up with Batman, it would be pretty amazing to see, no matter who's under the mask, that they take him the most serious, because he is the easiest character to produce movies for in the DC universe, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Speaking of universes, the Masters of the Universe revival that's going to be coming to Netflix. That's being helmed by Kevin Smith. Excuse me. Has announced their voice cast.
Oh,
and
nice.
Most notably is Mark Hamill, I think, is going to be Skeletor.
That's awesome. Wow. Like two major villains in two different universes there.
Yeah.
Joker first, now Skeletor. Love doing the Skeletor voice. Yeah, He-Man. What are you doing, He-Man? So, can you come over for soup, He-Man? And it's like just little stupid stuff that you'll never hear on a He-Man cartoon. But it's Skeletor is by far one of the most iconic voices in cartoon history.
Yeah. And so it's going to be headlined by Mark Hamill and Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Really? Should be Tila or who?
Yeah. Yes.
Nice.
Yep,
that makes sense.
I'm pretending like I understand what I'm talking about, because I've never really watched. I watched a little bit of He-Man, but I'm not really familiar with it. But I guess, one of the main points of interest here would be that Chris Wood, who played Superman's father, I think, on Supergirl,
really,
is going to be playing He-Man.
Wow, that's interesting. Okay.
So I think those are the main things here. But yeah, I mean, what a cast. We got also Alicia Silverstone, I want to point out, is Queen Marlena. Is that how
Queen Marlena?
Okay, yes.
Yeah, that's He-Man's mother, right?
Where has Alicia Silverstone been? She's our first live action Batwoman, right? Batgirl.
Yeah, I'm pretty clueless where she's been over all these years, right? Wasn't she in Clueless?
Yes. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And then she was Batgirl.
Time dated there. I'm sorry. Right.
So speaking of He-Man here, I think you have a little bit of news to share with everyone before we dive into the main topic of Birds of Prey here.
I'm one of the design artists for that cartoon. Eddie Nunez will be joining us at the store.
Cool.
On March 7th with Olivia Romandelli, who is the artist who's worked on Transformers for IDW off and on for about 8 years now, and has just created his own comic series that came out within the last 2 months called Kill Lock. And we've been friends and huge supporters of Olivia Romandelli's art ever since we saw it at conventions all those years before.
Unbelievable.
And he's been a couple free comic book days for us, and he's just the most down-to-earth cool guy you'll ever meet. And his vision and his imagination of the cartoons and the different characters we loved as a kid, his take on it is so enjoyable and so fresh that it's become iconic inside the comic industry art world.
Yeah, no, totally. It's amazing. So any of you guys in the Phoenix metro area there, if you want a fun little event on Saturday, March
7th. Yeah, from 12 to 5, he'll be in the store.
Yeah, come on down to that. So Birds of Prey.
Yes.
You saw it, or I don't even necessarily feel comfortable calling it Birds of Prey.
Yeah, it should be just a Harley Quinn and the Gang of Harleys.
Yeah,
or Harley Quinn, and it felt like it went through like 3 or 4 evolutions, because over the past 5 years, maybe not 5 years, 3 years, I've been feeling like DC's been pushing out all kinds of rumor mill stuff. Remember Josh Whedon's Batgirl script that got axed?
Yep.
There was supposed to be a Gotham City Sirens movie with Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy.
Yep.
There was rumors of a Cassandra Cain Batgirl movie.
Yep.
And I think all those rumors turned out to be Harley Quinn and Emancipation. Oh, Birds of Prey and Harley Quinn and Emancipation, of whatever the 12 words I have to say that I can't remember off the top of my head. Movie that just hit a couple weeks ago, and it's done. I guess that's what we can say about it.
So initial reaction, like in a nutshell, like I enjoyed it. I really liked it. There's not, I mean, there's things I'm about to complain about, but like it really, to me, doesn't affect, just enjoying the movie. Because to me, like you should go into a superhero movie just wanting to enjoy the mythology. Like we don't have to always sit here and go through some R-rated art film kind of thing. Like, like that's fine maybe once in a while, but like really it's the mythology that you should be in there to have fun and just just
Yes.
enjoy. And I think, for the most part, we got that, and Margaret Robbie did a fantastic job, I thought,
she
as Harley.
is like as much Harley Quinn as Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark.
Sure.
I mean, they cast their DC characters, in my opinion, very well. I don't know if it's just they're super strict during casting calls and during tryouts or what, but they know when they have nails for the characters.
Yeah.
Like, even as much as people hated Green Lantern, Ryan Reynolds was a really good Hal Jordan.
Okay.
And it's, I mean, I said too, like lately, I really feel that DC's doing a good job getting the characters to fit the roles as much as they can with the fans. Some of the storytelling's not always perfect, but Margot Robbie is a really good Harley Quinn when it comes to on-screen ability.
Yeah, and I mean, she really had the chance to show some diversity when she was, heavily drinking, and then she kind of had that like breakdown when she was talking to, I think it was Black Canary.
Yes,
a lot of good stuff. I almost felt they took some of the like the fourth wall breaking too far. I was like, okay, like are we trying to do Deadpool now too? Like I know a lot of people compare Harley to Deadpool, but like, did we have to do that?
Yeah, Harley's not. That's the first place they've had her break the fourth wall. So she doesn't do it in the comics at all.
Oh, really? Okay.
At least
I wasn't
as far
sure.
as I've never seen her break the fourth wall. I mean, sometimes they'll do like a pseudo thing. Like there's been a couple times, mostly in Rebirth, where she realizes that she's in a comic book, but she's not as much communicating with us. She's just storytelling. Do you know what I mean? In a weird way of saying.
I see.
It's like that. Oh, yeah, this is how the DC universe works. And she knows, I guess they did start doing that thing where she knows she's in a comic book now, but that's just something recent over the years.
Just like, I don't care for that. I feel like they're trying to copy the Deadpool aspect of doing that. And, people can make the argument that he did that, quote, as far back as the Joe Kelly run. But to me, the way it was written back then in 97, 98, like off the top of my head, he runs into Bullseye again in a comic, and he's like, oh, Deadpool, wait, how long has it been? And Deadpool replies something along the lines of issue 17 in Greece, so sure, that's true. And is that breaking the fourth wall? Or yes, it is. But I think it also works on another level on like, if you just take it place within that universe, Bullseye is kind of like, what is this guy talking about? Like, he's so crazy that like, he's just saying stuff. And like, he might believe that it was a comic, but like it works on that level that he still works within the Marvel universe. It's just that to everyone else, like he's just that crazy. Like, I think that's the better way of writing that personally. I know a lot of people get a kick out of that, and that's,
he's self-aware, which is kind of fun to see, like him being that self-aware character. Like, it could be kind of fun. You could even like rotate that into like his psychosis type of thing, like that. He remembers every moment that he's ever experienced to a T. And so like that, every issue in his mind is the fact of like every event he has a different issue. Do you mean it's like almost like if you want to make it a psychological type of thing? Hey, this guy's got issues, but it's issues from more or less, his personal standpoint, not actually the physical comic book issues, which is pretty funny.
Absolutely.
To think about it that way too.
So the big bad of this movie was the Black Mask.
Yes.
What did you think?
I liked it. I mean, Ewan McGregor, dude, it's crazy thinking of like Obi-Wan Kenobi having so much range as an actor.
You think so?
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good range for him because
you didn't see Trainspotting, did you?
No, I need to see Trainspotting.
Oh my gosh.
Was he very similar to that too in Trainspotting, or different?
He's like a strung out druggie.
Yeah,
and it's nuts. Like,
that's cool.
I think that's his earliest example of what a phenomenal actor he is.
Yeah,
I mean, you're absolutely right. Like he was not Obi-Wan Kenobi here.
No, yeah, his range is amazing.
Yeah,
I said too is like that. That's it too. It kind of I can't think of another actor that I love the range of in that aspect of being completely different ends of the spectrum and selling to you that he is that character in that movie.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like that. I love the scene when he's in his lair and he's pointing out all the different masks.
Yes.
And he's just like in a glorious, like, oh my gosh, look at this. I'm sharing this with you. Do you know what I mean? And he's so proud of everything he's accomplished as this gang lord inside of Gotham City. And just the anger thing too, where he can shift between being perfectly content getting angry on a fly, and you feel that emotion inside of him that quickly. Like the certain things, like it was eerily creepy, like, or even Joker really couldn't hit that level. It felt like in the movies, the same way that Black Mask did when he just picked out that lady inside of his club and more or less just started. Ooh, man, it was like, it was eerily. You got so pissed as a fan that he made him even that much worse of a villain.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, though, you sympathize with him when his little bodyguard or whatever you're supposed to be calls him like your bird betray you, and like he got so sad he almost started crying.
Yes,
and I was like, oh, like you're a really bad person, but like you legitimately feel so betrayed.
Dude, he was like bipolar as it gets when it played in that character. To be able to play those many different levels of emotions in one movie, I was really impressed with how they handled Black Mask in that movie.
And he was really vicious, but wouldn't get his hands dirty.
Yes.
So it was like he was gonna spare that girl because he was viciously like cutting off people's faces, but he was having the other guy do it.
Yeah.
And then like she had a little snot on her nose. She was like, oh no, that's disgusting. Like I'm gonna cut her for face now. Like it's just like a little thing like that. Like he thought it was disgusting, and I think he even took his gloves off because he didn't like. What an interesting dynamic. It was very, very interesting character.
What'd you think about Zsasz? I was not as pleased with Zsasz as I thought that I should have been with Zsasz.
Zsasz is his bodyguard?
Yes.
Wow. Well,
Victor Zsasz.
Well, I didn't even catch that was his name. So I'll start by saying that. Is that supposed to be somebody?
Yeah, Zsasz, like he is the guy that has been like more or less the serial killer of Arkham Asylum.
Oh, no kidding.
What he would do is every time he killed someone, he'd make a scar on his body.
Oh, so that's right on, huh?
Yes. And I
was like, I got a spot picked out right for you here.
Yes. And they did a good job with his writing, but I wasn't sold on that actor being as diabolical as Zsasz could have been. Do you know what I mean? I think like I said too, we're talking as good of the deal of picking DC is at finding the right actors to play the roles. I preferred the Zsasz from Gotham to the Zsasz that they used in this movie.
Well, if he's a serial killer, he should be very calculating and manipulative, probably. There was very little manipulation in there. Like the only instance I can remember off the top of my head was when the girl was laughing in the club, and he's like, oh no, yeah, she's laughing at you. Yeah. You know, so it was more of just like he took the opportunity to cause a problem than actually be calculating. And
he was more or less like super insecure about someone taking away his the Black Mask relationship from him. And I think that's why he was jealous of Black Canary so easily. Okay. And he was like more or less like that besties with almost like a romantic feeling for Black Mask at times during that movie. Totally. And where it's like that's why he turned on Black Canary. And like he was looking for a reason for Black Mask to turn on Black Canary. Yep. And like, because that's that relationship he had of being like his right hand man was threatened by her. Yeah. And so it was an interesting little dynamic of the fact of like almost like reinventing Zsasz in a way that this guy in the comic was, he just fueled off of his almost like that. It sounds kind of weird, like where when an athlete throws touchdown passes, they remember every single touchdown pass they throw. And with him, it's almost like it's a badge of honor, you know, type of thing like that. Hey, so-and-so like that. Yeah, dude. You know, I threw 388 touchdown passes in my career and I remember all of them. Wow. It's like, that's why I kind of felt like Zsasz is supposed to be as a character. It's like that. I get like euphoric about every opportunity I get to kill someone. Yeah. And he felt a little bit too reined in this story. Do you know what I mean? To me, it was because I didn't even realize this was an actual comic character. To me, it was just a very watered down, you know, right hand man. You know, like I thought it was just this generic, you know, archetype character. You know, I didn't realize that this was even somebody, and I never even caught his name. Yeah. You know, Victor. They kept on referring to him, but Victor Zsasz. I didn't realize a couple times, but. I guess, you know, I don't get to watch movies in the movie theaters with subtitles. No, for sure, dude. Let's do it here. Man, what did you? And I know what you think about this character, but what did you think about
Cassandra Cain.
She was enjoyable on screen.
You think so?
When it came
wow,
to,
you're being much more generous than,
dude.
than I was going to.
When it came to what she is from the comic, it's the exact opposite. She was I don't know about I guess I don't know, like she played her purpose. Do you know what I mean? It's like that. She was a pickpocket. I think that when I'm reading the original story, I think that's supposed to be Catwoman's part, but they figured like you can't have Catwoman be that young. And so she kind of had the Catwoman aspect of herself, but at the same time, they needed a Poison Ivy type of character for her too, as well. So I think Cassandra Cain took on the Gotham City Sirens side of the script of like that. It's really random how they tried working her in. Like Harley Quinn was trying to rebuild her ethics in a way after losing the Joker. I need someone that I can connect with.
It reminded me of the kid from Deadpool 2 that Deadpool was trying to protect from Cable.
Yeah, very much similar concept on that.
But like it didn't.
Who wrote these movies? Did the same writer write both movies?
Gosh, yeah, right. I don't. I'm pretty sure that's not the case.
Okay.
But I mean, it was certainly reminiscent.
Very good point.
Of the two, kind of, because like you have this crazy fourth wall breaking character who's like he's trying to do the right thing and protecting this kid who kind of has their own problems, you know, maybe even a little mouthy. A lot of really similar.
I didn't think about that.
Dynamics
very similar dynamics between those two movies.
But it was disappointing because I mean, Cassandra Cain in the comics, you know, and she's a Batgirl.
Yes,
you know, I thought for sure that. Well, first of all, before I even thought that this was going to happen, when they crashed into the pier and that statue fell over, I was like, oh my gosh, is that Wayne Manor?
Oh,
wow.
Like,
is Batman going to come in? And then they saw it was the pier, like, oh, okay, it's not Wayne Manor. So I thought like Harley, in her trying to do something good, maybe want to make Cassandra Cain be better than even she can ever be, was she's going to drop her off at Wayne Manor at the end.
Yes, that would have been.
Or something.
Would have been a genius way of doing it.
Or leave her with Detective Montoya.
Yeah.
And who says like, well, like, hey, you know, she calls Batman like, you know, we've got an orphan here. You know, you said to look out for.
Yeah.
So you know, like I don't know,
potential opportunities for it.
Like why not?
And,
you didn't even need to show Batman. You didn't show Heath Ledger. I mean, oh my gosh, I can't believe I said Heath Ledger. You didn't show Jared Leto.
Yes.
You know, you didn't have to show Ben Affleck or Robert Pattinson. Like it didn't matter.
I feel like they were afraid it was just going to be a standalone movie. Like they wrote it to be a standalone movie by killing Black Mask, at the end of it almost doing the Thelma and Louise type of deal, or a spinoff into the Birds of Prey true movie. They were hoping to come out of it. And then Harley Quinn's just going to go on to whatever's next with her and Cassandra Cain. But
Cassandra Cain shouldn't be in, because they already started filming Suicide Squad 2.
Yes.
And they already showed what Harley looks like in there, which is awesome. She's rocking the classic red and black
that's cool
costume with the, I don't even know what the head thing is called. I don't even know, but she's wearing it.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool. No, I was gonna say Taika Waititi, but that's not who's directing it. It's what's his name? James Gunn.
Oh, that's right. James Gunn is doing Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
So that'll be kind of fun too. His Guardians of the Galaxy stuff was so well received. Can he do that with Suicide Squad? And didn't he re-sign with Marvel after that again too as well? So it's gonna be a one and done thing for Suicide Squad now too.
And even though it's like it's not a reboot, but you know, it's like a new take. Only Margaret Robbie's coming back. You know, they had Idris Elba coming on, and I thought he was originally supposed to take over Will Smith's character. But now apparently he's getting his own character, which I'm glad they did, because that would have been really confusing and the last thing DC needed, especially since Will Smith did such a good job.
Oh, yes.
Playing Deadshot. I had to not say Deathstroke there for a second, admittedly. I'm, you know, honestly, looking at the first Suicide Squad, I felt like they were trying to copy Guardians of the Galaxy anyway. With like, oh, look at these wacky characters who don't want to be together, and look at our soundtrack. It's all these songs, you know.
Yes, it's Guardians of the Galaxy with more color. Yeah, because they had all the neon colors going through the whole movie too as well. I mean, it was
and lots of cheap exposition.
Yes, but I said too, the Birds of Prey and the Emancipation of Harley Quinn. I said it right that time, I think.
No, the Fantabulous Emancipation of Harley Quinn.
Fantabulous Emancipation of Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn.
I said too, it was like, I guess you could catch me on that. Is for the first half of the movie, I kind of was bored with Cassandra Cain.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the movie, it's okay, I just got to accept this is the role they gave to her. So she is a loudmouth. Unfortunately, in the comic book, she never talks at all up until she got hooked up with Batman.
Here's the thing, like, you could have just, like,
gave her a new name.
Gave her a different name, and like it would have been the same exact movie. Like it didn't. There's no reason, especially if you didn't set up Batgirl, that had to be Cassandra Cain at all.
Yes,
zero reasons.
And why do they have to bring people from the DC universe that you already know? Have her be a brand new character.
Yeah,
I mean, I said too. Like that's something too. Like how cool would it be if DC actually was progressive enough to create a character that's in the movies? Like Harley Quinn came from the cartoons first, and have that brand new character that they can bring into their DC comics. Everybody goes nuts for the same way that we went nuts for Harley Quinn when she was first invented in Hollywood first, then brought into the comic book first. Yeah. That would have been like something like almost retrofitting the opposite way of doing it. And let's do it for fun again.
Well, I mean, the movies influenced the comics anyway. So, I mean, I don't know why they didn't have the foresight to do this. Like, we've really strayed from Cassandra Cain here. Maybe we should just make this like some kid named whatever. It doesn't even matter.
Yes. And the next thing you know, we get her in the comic series, the next year, or this exact same time frame, the movie drops and everybody's happy. Like it's kind of, ironic that this Harley Quinn movie just came out, and inside the Batman comics, there's a new character. It's going to be Joker's girlfriend coming up here in the next month or two.
Yep.
And Punchline is getting all kinds of heat in the comic book marketplace right now. If this could have been that Cassandra Cain character, instead of it doing with the Joker Punchline type of thing, they could have got the exact same type of heat, even more, because it's a character that people recognize from Hollywood first.
Yeah. I mean, and that's important. I mean, you own a comic book store. How many people have gotten into comics just because of these movies now?
Oh, absolutely. And it's a good reason for them to be jumping on at the same point.
Yeah.
Because that's something too, people come in all the time. Where should I start reading to understand what's going on? And it's like, hey, check this out. This character right here, it is, Harley Quinn's new sidekick. And they kind of introduced her in the movie, but they're also writing her into the comic series, starting with this issue.
Yeah.
It's a good jumping on point. You already understand everything about Harley Quinn. You saw the 2 movies. Now you get to be on board with everybody else at this brand new character they just introduced.
One of the highlights of the movie for me was that we finally got a Huntress that is part of this DC universe here, and I thought they did a really good job.
Oh man, her origin story was to a T, almost exactly from the comics.
How fun!
I was pretty impressed. Like that was more or less like, hey, comic fans, we're giving you this as part of that, and it's version 2 of Huntress, because the first Huntress from Earth 2, when she was first introduced, she's from the Justice Society universe.
Gotcha.
And in that universe, she was Catwoman and Batman's daughter. And she was Helena Kyle.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And it was Helena Martinelli in the refresh they did after the crisis.
Wow.
And that's when she was more or less raised by the mob, and her parents were killed by another competing mob group. And then she more or less made the vendetta towards as many mobsters as she can get. That will never happen to any other mobster or anybody's kid again. Almost like Batman, Bruce Wayne type of thing. But actually, she was even more connected to the crime than the Wayne family was connected to the crime.
Yeah, I totally got that from the origin. Like I was like, this is very Batman-esque, similarities. I thought it was really fun. I look forward to seeing more of her in the DC movies going forward. Hopefully she gets more of a proper spotlight, because I feel like she wasn't even in it really till the end.
What was what they keep on calling her? Like the bow hunter or something like that?
The crossbow killer.
Crossbow killer.
I think that's what crossbow killer.
I thought that was classic.
You know what?
They did such a great job with humanizing her. It's like that. It's Huntress. It's Huntress.
As much as I hate like stupid jokes that are unnecessary, like I thought that was really well written and handled, and it really worked. Because she had to introduce herself, and yeah, I mean, totally they'll just call her the crossbow killer, like, and this she's practicing in the mirror. I am Huntress.
And I love the fact too, with her personality and her characterization during all of the stuff that where she could have come numb to humanity, they kept her humanitarian part of her. Like one of my favorite parts of the movie was, okay, this Huntress character, she's supposed to be cold-blooded. She's supposed to be this based off of what I'm seeing so far, like we're hunting down. But then when they showed her human side of it, when she is inside of the House of Mirrors and she's trying to protect Cassandra Cain, you shouldn't see any of this.
Yeah.
And that was really kind of cool because it's almost like a big sister type of thing, even more than Harley Quinn was. Seems like she had more care for people than anybody else on that team.
Yep.
And that was kind of really cool to see someone that's like raised by the mob, seeing her parents get executed by the mob, but yet she goes, I don't want, almost like Bruce Wayne-ish to a T.
Very
it's like
much.
that.
I was just going to say that.
He protecting Robins. And do you know what I mean? And anybody that's ever been orphaned the same way he has, she had that same type of a element to her. So I can't wait to see if they ever do that Batman and Huntress more or less connection type of thing, the same way they kind of Detective Comics with, there's a storyline recently where Batman brought in Kathy Kane, Batwoman, to help more or less be a co-teacher of how to teach sidekicks, how to teach the family to be good Gotham City souls, not just vigilantes out there like he's become.
Yeah, and that you just made me remember another thing I thought was going to happen with Cassandra Cain because of that scene where Huntress, like it's like, oh, you don't want to see this. I started getting vibes from something that happened where she said that she was kind of pulling away from Harley, like, oh, you were going to hand me over or whatever, and then that nice thing happened with Huntress. I thought she was might have also end up with Huntress, who then hands her to Bruce Wayne.
Yes.
Like I kept seeing that happening, and just it didn't come to fruition.
Like No Man's Land. They said too, like Huntress is the one that discovered Cassandra Cain in the alley.
See, like that would have been
Gotham City.
How cool would that be? Like it was just like her discovering her under the Black Mask attack. Like close enough. I mean, it doesn't have to be, exact to have like those like little dynamics, from the comics. I don't know.
Yeah, so there was a lot of good, positive things about it, and they have a lot of potential that they can go forward from here with it.
Yeah.
I am kind of intrigued to see if they do a Birds of Prey movie. I don't know if they're going to go that route. It almost feels like Renee Montoya has kind of become the new Oracle. Of the storytelling.
And I'm surprised what a big role they gave her, especially like not being like a superhero, just like she's a detective. Although looking her up, I guess she's been the question a couple of times. Which might be interesting if they do that too. That
would be awesome. I said too, that's a great way to bring in Batwoman, because in the comics there was a relationship between Question and Batwoman.
Interesting.
And I don't know if like they have the CW Batwoman, but they also have the CW Flash, and they also have
that doesn't
make a difference. But that would be cool to see. That's the next element they kind of bring in. Since they have Renee Montoya there, you can bring in other members to make a new Birds of Prey team, kind of like what we were looking up earlier about all different members of Birds of Prey. Extends everywhere. I mean, Big Barda was out in the Birds of Prey for a while even.
Well, that's gotta be crazy, because like she's one of the elder gods. So like she's gotta be crazy powerful. How is that fair? That's like having Superman and then a team of Batmans or I don't know. Like, am I wrong? Like I feel like the power level differences is insane.
It's like it's become almost like a network. The same thing like Gotham, like Batman did in Gotham City, is like he's got his allies, and Batgirl inside the comic extended it out to, hey, let's do more allies for Batman because I'm paralyzed now after the Killing Joke. And she took it on her own shoulders to develop another task force that is protecting Gotham City outside of Batman's responsibility.
You know what would have been interesting if because I thought there was reshoots. I could be wrong. But if, remember Renee Montoya got shot, if that paralyzed her and she became Oracle.
That would have been unbelievable.
I don't think I would have had a problem with that, because I mean, like, you don't even have Batgirl yet. Like, when are you going to get to doing Oracle? And like, it's kind of terrible. I mean, although it would be fun to see that like in a live action.
Dude, if you did Killing Joke in a movie, that would be. Man, you'd almost have to have the Joaquin Phoenix Joker.
You think? No.
As like the guy to do the Killing Joke in a way, because the guy's so unstable. And just the fact of him inside of the beachwear shirt and the beachcomber shorts and the hat, and just kind of he's in his own little Hollywood play inside of that movie. And you could do a similar type of thing with Killing Joke, but I think you could be right. It could be like another actor doing that Killing Joke story. But
I want it to be Jared Leto. Like I don't understand why everyone's so upset. Anything that was bad about it was all script and directorial, mishaps.
I think DC dropped the ball though. Like he's already gone on to Marvel movies now and Sony movies, and it's I guess I could have him come back and play Joker again. But
why not?
If Morbius takes off and they do a good job, dude, he's going to be now like directly connected to the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
But you're only going to take Morbius so far. After you do this Morbius movie, if you're not doing him in a Spider-Man movie, which would just be redundant, he's being used for Sinister Six. Like, how far are you going to take Morbius as like a pillar character? Like, he's got one, maybe two more Marvel movies as Morbius. Best case scenario, too.
Yes.
This could be it. Like, everything could just fall apart, after this, and like who knows, next thing Disney's buying the rights to Spider-Man and getting rid of this and that, and gosh, like that's a whole nother
can of worms too.
About how confusing on what's going on in the Marvel Sony universes here.
Yeah, and it's the good thing that I guess so far on that is like anything that's introduced in the Sony universe, as soon as Peter Parker shows up in any of those, you get the connection of all those characters. When that Disney thing does happen, if it does happen, you have everything seamless ready to go in. Well,
it's already confusing with Michael Keaton being in the Morbius trailer, and he's obviously Vulture, right? Who was in the Marvel movies. But the latest set photos show like all these signs posted everywhere, "Where's Spider-Man?" which is a direct allusion to the end of Spider-Man Far From Home.
Yes.
Obviously, he must be disappearing right after Mysterio calls him out. Very confusing. And what's even more confusing on top of all of this is there's like the Tobey Maguire looking suit on one of the posters. So what is going on?
Yes. I do think that there's going to be a little bit of a Spider-Verse hitting the silver screen as much as I hit the animated screen.
I could totally see that. And it might mesh some things together. Yes, I could totally see that happening.
Or if you hit the Clone Saga type of thing too with it, where you have Tobey Maguire play, the clone, which would be kind of crazy to think about, where, it's
like kind of like Ben Reilly kind of a thing, or interesting.
And I don't know if that's going to go that route or not, but there's some things that they can do with it. And I do like the fact they have the Spider-Verse route and the Clone Saga as an opportunity there, because it is kind of fun to see like that. Okay, in the Marvel universe, they've been pulling from all different types of dimensions of Spider-Mans. Mm-hmm. That would be kind of genius for Sony, since they did all the other three, that you do have an Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire at their disposal if they're willing to do it. And it's, as I said too, it'd just be kind of fun to see if they'll ever pull that off. Could just be for one movie. I would love to see the whole Tobey Maguire be old man Spider-Man. Yeah. Like it was with, in that previous movie that was Enter the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
And it would just be kind of fun to see like that. For a one and done type of movie, Tobey Maguire help out Tom Holland, prove that he's not Spider-Man.
Yeah. And I think that's really cool. And it, especially with J.K. Simmons being J. Jonah Jameson in this dimension too, I think it'd be really neat to acknowledge the past Spider-Man movies as just part of the multiverse.
Yes. And I said too, I think it would be a beautiful set of things to take place on, even like Ray Liotta slipping through as Doc Ock type of thing. I mean, how crazy would that be to see like some of the more famous villains, that because a lot of people say Spider-Man 2 was their favorite Spider-Man movie.
Oh, the Tobey Maguire one.
Yes. Yeah. And then like where Ray Liotta is the guy that kind of opens up with his science how to get into the multiverse in the first place. And it's where Ray Liotta like discovers the fact like, oh, cool, this Spider-Man defeated me, but maybe this Spider-Man won't. And this Spider-Man's obviously got
Alfred Molina.
I'm sorry, yeah, Alfred Molina. Okay. My apologies. Why am I thinking Ray Liotta?
I don't know. You kept saying that, so like I pulled up my phone and I was like, that's not his name.
Why am I thinking Ray Liotta? My apologies. Yeah, Alfred Molina. Yeah, exactly, dude.
He was a great Dr. Octopus. Yes. I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, man, it's a shame they killed him at the end. Yes. Like, what are these why do these movies keep just killing off the bad guy? Like it's because they're not thinking of the big picture
of everything.
Now look what Marvel did with Loki.
I know.
I can't wait to see what character becomes Loki for the next few phases. You know, like there's lots of opportunity, especially with like a character like Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom would be perfect for just popping up in random places, especially being like the ruler of Latveria. You know, like I don't know.
Yeah,
I love Doctor Doom, and I can't believe we haven't got like this ultimate interpretation of him, you know, cinematically.
Yeah, it'll come. That's it too. It's like that's already happening with, there's rumors that in the next Captain Marvel movie that Rogue is going to be the next storyline. And that's like the first Fox character rumor that we're hearing slid into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And whether that's going to be the floodgates or just the beginning, who knows if that's even going to be true or not. Yeah. And I said too, I don't know where this rumor's coming from, but I've seen a lot of people online say that they've seen that, like, oh yeah, Rogue's possibly the next villain for the Captain Marvel movies.
Hopefully it puts Captain Marvel in a coma for 10 years. Sorry, I don't like that movie. That would be cool to see. But you would have to introduce Mystique, I think, because Mystique first appearance was Captain Marvel comic.
Yes, it was. Yeah, Miss Marvel.
15, 16, 17, 18, somewhere in there. Miss Marvel, yeah. And then hopefully, you know, Marvel finally makes Rogue and Mystique related, because Fox never did that. Yes. Fox never gave anyone their proper relationship for some reason.
Yeah, they did their own thing altogether with it.
But before we get too far off topic here, overall, I liked Birds of Prey. You know, definitely had its flaws, but I mean, we'll see where this really takes us. So Ken had this idea, and we're gonna implement this this week here. In honor of Birds of Prey, we're gonna do a little Facebook poll, okay? And we want to see who's your favorite Birds of Prey member from the comics. Okay. So like, there's a good list out there. We're gonna start with the core team and allow people to write that in. But Ken, I think I know the answer. Yes. But who's your favorite Birds of Prey member from the comics?
Man, dude, it's I've always been a big Barbara Gordon fan. Okay. And like I said, I liked her more as Batgirl than as Oracle. Okay. But man, dude. Yes, I said too, is that I'd still have to stick with Barbara Gordon just because I'm such a big Batgirl fan.
I didn't expect that.
And I said too, there was another character that was invented that idolized Batgirl, and they brought her in issue, I want to say it was like 94, between it was before issue 100 of the Birds of Prey series. And it's like I was so excited to see, because they did a like an homage cover to Detective Comics 359, which was the first appearance of Batgirl, but it was like a blacked out shadow of like introducing the new Batgirl. And what they did with this new character was like, I was so excited to see it. Then when I read it, I'm going, yeah, it's cool that she idolizes Batgirl, but the character didn't really catch my the same way that Batgirl, the original Barbara Gordon Batgirl did. And the character's name, they ended up starting calling her Misfit. Yeah. And she was just the biggest Barbara Gordon fan, Batgirl, Barbara Gordon, but Batgirl fan. And after Batgirl disappeared because of her paralyzation, she started going out and trying to become almost like Miles Morales, Peter Parker, Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man story. And unfortunately, the character didn't grab on. And when New 52 happened, they just left the character behind in the pre-52 universe. So those I kind of say like are a close tie for like Barbara Gordon. Then obviously Misfit, who was supposed to be kind of the new Batgirl for Gotham City. Yeah. Even though Stephanie Brown was running around as Batgirl after being Spoiler. And I think they were hoping to pass that torch from Stephanie Brown, so Stephanie Brown could go back to being Spoiler again. It's becoming a new Batgirl, but there wasn't much fan favor for her. And I think they kind of just like, okay, this character is going to be left behind when we do New 52.
Yeah, so I mean, they could always bring her back. You know, anything can happen. For me, I'm gonna have to go with Huntress.
Yeah, it's my second favorite. Huntress is awesome.
Huntress is such a cool character. I feel like she's been wildly underutilized. Hopefully, this new Birds of Prey movie, you know, changes that. Because before, I mean, we really only had that TV show, you know, and it was, I don't know, it was okay, but like you just wanted so much more from it, you know?
Yes.
It'd be really fun to see her, you know, cross paths with Batman and stuff. Just ever since the Joel Schumacher movies, though, they've been so afraid to bring in Robin and Batgirl and Huntress and the Birds of Prey and Nightwing and everybody. They've been so afraid. They just need to go for it.
Yes.
I mean, they're fan favorite characters. Like, people will love to see it. And come on, you know, it's been long enough that it's fresh and new again.
What's it too? Like, it would be great to see a Gotham Central type of movie franchise or TV series. Like, they kind of did the same thing with Gotham in a way with Commissioner Gordon, but it was before Batman, and it was the evolution of Batman. But if you did like Renee Montoya as kind of that Gordon, like what they were doing in this Birds of Prey movie, and she gets access to this or starts realizing that there's a lot of these superheroes running around Gotham City that could be at her disposal, you could have it be a different character each episode. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if they'll ever... I kind of wish that DC would get the forefront idea the same way Marvel does, is like, you can use these movies to spin off TV shows.
Yeah.
And like, that's what's brilliant about Disney Plus right now, is you're keeping your same actors. But imagine if they did a similar thing with WB or CW or whatever type of thing. Is like, they kind of hinted at it with their Crisis, is that we have access to all these characters, but we don't need them on so many different shows all playing together at the same time, but we can have them cross over anytime we need to.
Yeah.
And, that would be something cool to see with this Birds of Prey concept. Is, okay, this pilot was our movie. Now we're spinning it off into like a DC show that is a little bit more mature, that could be on the DC Universe Online or whatever type of
give
app
people incentive to subscribe to it.
Absolutely.
You know?
I would subscribe to see more of that group they're developing there.
Totally. Yeah. Especially Huntress and Black Canary, a bunch of really cool characters. So you'll be able to find this poll on our Facebook page. That's at facebook.com/nightcap chat. Okay. We'll have a link in the podcast description, so that way you can you guys can easily find it and participate, and we will share the results with you either on next week or the week after. Probably next week. Depends on how many episodes we record. Just full disclosure to everyone out there listening. I guess we could always stick it back in. We'll see what happens. Just go out there and vote. We'll talk about it.
Yes.
It'll be fun. See if Huntress or Batgirl wins, or if someone else. Maybe it'll be Black Canary. Maybe someone's going to write in Big Bertha. We'll see what happens here. But that's about all the time we have for today. Ken, thanks for joining us today. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Birds of Prey is always a fun topic.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad it's getting this mainstream attention here. Thank you all for listening every week and making us part of your routines. If you don't mind, tell your friends, about us. If you enjoy listening to Nightcap Chat, I discover new listeners every day. I found, a friend of mine was trolling me. They listened to our Valentine's Day episode, and I didn't realize he was messing with me because we were talking about comic book couples, and he sent me a picture of Jean Grey and Cyclops.
Nice.
He said the best comic book couple, so I didn't realize he listened to the episode. So I texted him back and I was like, well, if you listen to Nightcap Chat, the pop culture podcast where we talk all things from comics, movies, video games, TV shows, and more, we had a very interesting discussion. Like, I was just being a pain. And he's like, yes, I was listening to it in the shower because my wife turned it on. I was like, oh, you
awesome.
Guys were listening to it. Yes. So some people listen, and I don't even realize that you guys are listening. I appreciate the support. If you want to follow us on social media, we're on Facebook and Twitter. That's at Nightcap Chat, and on Instagram, Nightcap_chat. And let Ken take it away on a little bit about Drawn to Comics.
Yeah, Drawn to Comics. We're located in downtown Glendale at 5801 West Glendale Avenue. And you can find us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and drawntocomics.com. And yeah, guys, thanks for all your support. And it's another exciting new year of comics. I don't know. We have to talk about 5G coming up down the road here sometime too, as well. DC's announcement that they made about the 5th generation free comic book day kickoff.
What is that? Or can you not talk about it yet?
Yeah, I could talk about it. Should we save it for the next episode? as a trailer plug for people to come in to listen to the next episode.
Okay.
Here.
Yes. We're gonna talk
That's what
about.
we call a tease in the industry. That's awesome.
Oh.
We did our first tease.
And we got some other cool things coming up too. So to be on the lookout for that, especially on our social media. But thank you all for listening, and we'll catch you next week.
Thank you for listening.